What if the biggest obstacle standing between you and the life you want isn't a lack of talent, money, opportunity, or education? What if it's the conversation happening inside your own mind every single day? Think about it. Every dream you've ever had, every goal you've ever set, every promise you've ever made to yourself has faced one powerful opponent, the voice that says, maybe tomorrow. Success is not won in the marketplace. It is not won in the classroom. It is not won on social media. Success is first won in the mind. The moment you learn to discipline your thoughts, control your emotions, and stay committed to what matters most, you begin to unlock a level of potential that has been waiting inside you all along. Because the difference between where you are today and where you could be 5 years from now is often found in one simple ability: the ability to do what needs to be done, even when you don't feel like doing it. So today, let's talk about one of the most powerful skills a human being can develop, a skill that can transform your habits, your character, your future, and ultimately, your destiny. Let's talk about how to discipline your mind and achieve lasting success. Everything in your life begins with a thought. Before there is action, there is an idea. Before there is achievement, there is belief. Before there is success or failure, there is a mental picture that influences the choices you make every day. This is why one of the most important truths you can understand is that your mind eventually follows what you repeatedly feed it. The thoughts you entertain today become the beliefs you hold tomorrow. And those beliefs quietly shape the direction of your life. Many people underestimate the power of their daily thinking. They assume that thoughts are temporary and harmless, but thoughts are like seeds. A single seed may seem small and insignificant, yet given enough time and attention, it grows into something much larger. In the same way, repeated thoughts become deeply rooted beliefs. Once a belief takes hold, it begins to influence your behavior, your decisions, and your expectations. Eventually, your actions start producing results that reflect those beliefs. Consider someone who constantly tells themselves that they are incapable, unlucky, or destined to fail. At first, these may seem like simple statements, but over time, they become accepted as truth. As those beliefs grow stronger, that person begins to hesitate when opportunities appear. They avoid challenges, fear rejection, and settle for less than they are capable of achieving. The belief creates the behavior, and the behavior creates the outcome. Then the outcome appears to confirm the original belief, creating a cycle that becomes difficult to break. Now imagine the opposite. Imagine a person who consistently feeds their mind with thoughts of growth, learning, possibility, and personal responsibility. This person understands that mistakes are lessons, challenges are opportunities, and effort is the pathway to improvement. Because of these beliefs, they approach life differently. They take action when others hesitate. They continue when others quit. They see possibilities where others see obstacles. Their mindset influences their behavior, and their behavior gradually creates better results. The mind is much like a garden. Whatever you plant and nurture will grow. If you continually plant seeds of negativity, doubt, resentment, and fear, those qualities will eventually dominate your thinking. But if you intentionally plant seeds of optimism, discipline, gratitude, and self-belief, those qualities will begin to flourish. The challenge is that the mind does not always distinguish between what is useful and what is harmful. It simply absorbs what it is repeatedly exposed to. That is why it is so important to be careful about what you read, what you watch, what you listen to, and who you allow to influence your thinking. Every day, your mind is being programmed. The question is whether that programming is helping you grow or holding you back. The books you read, the conversations you engage in, the content you consume, and the thoughts you repeat to yourself all contribute to the person you are becoming. If you fill your mind with excuses, distractions, and negativity, your actions will eventually reflect those influences. If you fill your mind with wisdom, purpose, and constructive ideas, your actions will begin to move you toward a better future. Success is rarely created by one extraordinary decision. More often, it is the result of thousands of small thoughts that shape thousands of small actions. Every great accomplishment begins in the mind long before it becomes visible in the world. This is why successful people place such a high value on personal development. They understand that improving their thinking is one of the most effective ways to improve their lives. When you learn to guard your mind and intentionally feed it thoughts that support your goals, you begin to change the foundation upon which your future is built. Your thoughts become stronger beliefs. Your beliefs become purposeful actions. Your actions become habits. And your habits ultimately determine the quality of your life. Change what you consistently feed your mind, and over time, you will change the direction of your destiny. Many people believe discipline is something you're either born with or without. They look at highly successful individuals and assume those people naturally possess greater willpower, stronger focus, or some special mental advantage. But the truth is far more encouraging. Discipline is not a gift given to a select few. It is a skill that can be learned, practiced, and strengthened by anyone willing to put in the effort. Think about how a muscle develops. No one walks into a gym for the first time and immediately lifts the heaviest weights. Strength is built gradually through repetition. The same principle applies to self-discipline. Every time you choose responsibility over excuses, action over procrastination, or growth over comfort, you are training your mind to become stronger. At first, the effort may feel uncomfortable. You may struggle to stay focused, follow a routine, or keep promises to yourself. That is normal. Every person who has mastered discipline once stood exactly where you are. The challenge is that modern life constantly encourages instant gratification. We are surrounded by distractions that promise immediate pleasure but often steal long-term progress. The disciplined mind learns to pause and ask an important question. Will this choice move me closer to the life I want? That simple question creates awareness, and awareness is the first step toward self-control. Discipline is not about being perfect. It is not about never making mistakes or never feeling tired. It is about making better choices more often than before. Some days you will feel motivated, energized, and ready to conquer the world. Other days you will feel discouraged, distracted, or uninspired. The key is understanding that discipline does not depend on your emotions. It depends on your commitment. When you learn to act based on your values rather than your feelings, you begin to take control of your future. Every small act of discipline matters. Waking up when you said you would, finishing a task before seeking entertainment, reading a few pages of a valuable book instead of wasting another hour scrolling, choosing patience instead of reacting with anger. These decisions may seem insignificant in the moment, but they are quietly shaping your character. Over time, they become habits, and habits eventually become your identity. What makes discipline so powerful is that it creates momentum. One disciplined action makes the next one easier. One productive day increases the likelihood of another. The more often you practice self-control, the more natural it becomes. What once felt difficult begins to feel normal. What once required constant effort becomes part of who you are. Remember, discipline is not punishment. It is self-respect in action. It is the decision to honor your goals, your potential, and your future. The person you want to become is built through the choices you make today. And every time you choose discipline, no matter how small the action may seem, you are teaching your mind a powerful lesson, that you are capable of leading yourself towards success rather than waiting for success to find you. Small daily habits create extraordinary outcomes. This idea may sound simple, but it contains one of the most powerful truths about success and personal growth. Many people spend their lives searching for dramatic breakthroughs, hoping for a single opportunity, a lucky moment, or a major event that will instantly transform their circumstances. Yet, when we closely examine the lives of highly successful individuals, we often discover that their achievements were not built in a single day. They were built through small, consistent actions repeated over months, years, and sometimes decades. The human mind naturally focuses on big results. We admire the successful entrepreneur, the accomplished athlete, the respected leader, or the skilled professional. What we often fail to notice are the thousands of small decisions that happened behind the scenes. We see the finished product, but not the process. We see the victory, but not the discipline. We see the reward, but not the habits that earned it. Success rarely arrives as a sudden event. Instead, it grows quietly through daily choices. Reading 10 pages of a good book each day may not seem significant, but over a year, it can expose you to thousands of pages of knowledge and wisdom. Exercising for 30 minutes a day may not transform your body overnight, but over time, it can improve your health, energy, confidence, and quality of life. Saving a small amount of money consistently may appear insignificant at first, yet over the years, it can create financial security and opportunities that once seemed impossible. The same principle works in reverse. Small negative habits can also produce significant consequences. Procrastinating for a few minutes each day, neglecting personal growth, making excuses, or consistently choosing comfort over effort may not seem harmful in the moment. However, these small choices accumulate just as powerfully as positive ones. The direction of your life is often determined not by occasional actions, but by repeated behaviors. One of the greatest advantages of focusing on daily habits is that habits reduce the need for constant motivation. Motivation is valuable, but it is often unpredictable. Some days you feel inspired and energized. Other days you do not. Habits provide stability because they allow you to continue moving forward regardless of how you feel. When positive actions become part of your routine, progress continues even during difficult seasons. Every day offers an opportunity to cast a vote for the person you want to become. Each disciplined choice strengthens your character. Each productive action reinforces your identity. Over time, these repeated actions shape not only your results, but also your beliefs about yourself. You begin to see yourself as someone who follows through, someone who grows, and someone who can be trusted to keep commitments. Never underestimate the power of small beginnings. Great achievements are often the result of ordinary actions performed with extraordinary consistency. The future you desire is not created by one perfect day. It is created by hundreds of disciplined days strung together. When you commit to improving a little each day, those small improvements compound, creating momentum that can eventually transform every area of your life. The secret is not to focus on being perfect. The secret is to remain consistent, because small daily habits, practiced faithfully over time, have the power to create extraordinary outcomes. Emotional control is one of the most valuable skills a person can develop on the journey toward success. While many people focus on improving their talents, increasing their knowledge, or gaining new opportunities, few realize that the ability to manage emotions often determines whether those advantages lead to success or failure. Every day, life presents situations that test patience, judgment, and self-control. There will be moments of frustration, disappointment, criticism, uncertainty, and pressure. In those moments, your emotions can either become your greatest ally or your greatest obstacle. The truth is that emotions themselves are not the enemy. Fear, anger, excitement, sadness, and frustration are natural parts of being human. The challenge arises when emotions begin making decisions that should be guided by wisdom and reason. A person who reacts impulsively to every setback often creates bigger problems than the setback itself. One angry response can damage a relationship. One emotional decision can destroy months of progress. One moment of frustration can lead to actions that are later regretted. Success requires learning how to feel emotions without allowing them to control your behavior. Highly successful individuals understand that emotional mastery is not about suppressing feelings. It is about directing them. They recognize their emotions, acknowledge them, and then choose a response that aligns with their long-term goals. When faced with criticism, they seek lessons instead of becoming defensive. When they encounter failure, they focus on improvement instead of self-pity. When unexpected challenges appear, they remain focused on solutions rather than becoming consumed by frustration. This ability to pause before reacting creates a powerful advantage in every area of life. Consider how many opportunities are lost because people allow temporary emotions to dictate permanent decisions. Some quit too early because they feel discouraged. Some abandon their goals because progress seems slow. Others damage their confidence by constantly dwelling on negative thoughts. Yet those who learn emotional control understand that feelings are temporary visitors, not permanent guides. They know that a bad day does not mean a bad life, a setback does not mean defeat, and a difficult season does not define their future. Emotional intelligence also strengthens relationships, which are essential for personal and professional success. People naturally trust and respect individuals who remain calm under pressure, communicate thoughtfully, and handle conflict with maturity. A disciplined mind understands that winning an argument is less important than preserving a valuable relationship. It recognizes that listening often creates greater influence than speaking. In a world where many react instantly, the person who responds with patience stands out. One of the greatest signs of personal growth is the ability to stay committed to your values regardless of your emotional state. Anyone can be positive when everything is going well. Anyone can remain calm when life is easy. True character is revealed when circumstances become difficult. Can you remain focused when distractions arise? Can you stay disciplined when motivation disappears? Can you continue moving forward when results are delayed? These are the moments that shape destiny. When you develop emotional control, you gain something far more valuable than temporary comfort. You gain freedom. Freedom from impulsive decisions. Freedom from destructive reactions. Freedom from allowing circumstances to dictate your attitude. And with that, freedom comes clarity, confidence, and the ability to make choices that consistently move you toward the future you desire. Over time, this becomes a powerful competitive advantage because while many people are controlled by their emotions, you learn to lead your emotions with purpose, wisdom, and discipline. That is where lasting success truly begins. One of the most empowering realizations a person can have is understanding that personal responsibility creates personal power. The moment you begin taking responsibility for your life, your decisions, and your future, you stop living as a passenger and start living as the driver. This is not about blaming yourself for everything that has happened to you. Life is filled with circumstances that are beyond your control. Challenges arise unexpectedly. People disappoint you. Opportunities are missed, and setbacks occur despite your best efforts. However, while you may not control every event, you always have control over your response, and it is within that response that your true power exists. Many people spend years waiting for someone else to change their situation. They wait for better conditions, better luck, better timing, or for someone to come and provide the solution. Yet the most successful individuals understand a simple truth. Lasting change begins the moment they accept ownership of their lives. They stop asking, "Who is responsible for my problems?" and begin asking, "What can I do to improve my situation?" That question alone shifts the mind from helplessness to possibility. When you take responsibility, you gain influence over your future. Instead of focusing on what others failed to do, you focus on what you can do next. Instead of dwelling on mistakes, you search for lessons. Instead of becoming trapped by excuses, you become motivated by solutions. Responsibility is not a burden, it is freedom. It gives you the ability to shape your direction rather than allowing circumstances to dictate it. Personal growth begins with honest self-reflection. It requires the courage to look at your habits, choices, and actions without making excuses. This level of honesty can be uncomfortable, but it is also where transformation begins. Every achievement starts with a decision, and every decision begins with accepting responsibility for where you are and where you want to go. The remarkable thing about responsibility is that it builds confidence. Every time you keep a promise to yourself, you strengthen your belief in your own abilities. Every time you follow through on a commitment, even when it is difficult, you prove that you can be trusted. Over time, these small victories create a powerful sense of self-respect. Confidence does not come from wishing for success. It comes from demonstrating through action that you are capable of creating it. There will always be reasons to complain, excuses to make, and obstacles to point toward. But those who achieve meaningful success understand that energy spent blaming is energy taken away from progress. They choose ownership over excuses, action over complaints, and growth over regret. They recognize that the quality of their future depends less on what happens to them and more on how they respond to what happens. The day you fully accept responsibility for your thoughts, your habits, your attitude, and your actions is the day you begin unlocking your greatest potential. Because when you realize that you are responsible for your growth, you also realize that you have the power to change, improve, and create a better future. And that realization is one of the most powerful forces for success that any person can possess. Most people want growth, but very few people want the discomfort that growth requires. This is one of the greatest paradoxes of success. We all admire confident leaders, skilled professionals, successful entrepreneurs, and disciplined individuals. Yet we often overlook the challenges, sacrifices, and uncomfortable moments they endured to become who they are. The truth is that personal development begins at the edge of your comfort zone. The place where you feel uncertain, challenged, and stretched is often the place where your greatest transformation takes place. The comfort zone feels safe because it is familiar. It is a place where risks are limited, expectations are predictable, and failure seems less likely. While comfort can provide temporary security, it rarely creates meaningful progress. If you continue doing only what is easy, you will continue getting only what is familiar. Growth requires you to move beyond the boundaries of what feels comfortable and step into situations that demand more from you than you have given before. Every significant achievement in life begins with a decision to embrace temporary discomfort for long-term improvement. Learning a new skill can be frustrating. Starting a business can be intimidating. Pursuing a dream can be uncertain. Building discipline can feel exhausting. Yet these experiences are not signs that you are moving in the wrong direction. In many cases, they are evidence that you are growing. Think about how strength is developed. A muscle becomes stronger only when it is challenged beyond its current capacity. The same principle applies to the mind, character, and confidence. Every challenge you face develops qualities that comfort never can. Difficult situations teach patience. Setbacks teach resilience. Responsibility teaches maturity. Failure teaches wisdom. Without these experiences, personal growth remains limited. One of the greatest mistakes people make is waiting until they feel ready before taking action. The reality is that confidence often comes after action, not before it. Many successful people started before they felt prepared. They moved forward despite uncertainty. They accepted that mistakes would be part of the process. They understood that growth is not about being perfect. It is about being willing to learn, adapt, and improve. Discomfort is often a signal that you are entering new territory. It means you are challenging old habits, expanding your capabilities, and creating opportunities for progress. Instead of asking, "How can I avoid this challenge?" a growth-oriented person asks, "What can this challenge teach me?" That shift in perspective changes everything. Obstacles become lessons, problems become opportunities. difficulties become stepping stones. The person you want to become exists beyond the limits of your current comfort zone. Every time you choose courage over convenience, learning over excuses, and growth over fear, you take another step toward that person. Success is not reserved for those who never struggle. It belongs to those who are willing to grow through struggle. Embrace the discomfort that comes with improvement, because what feels challenging today may become the foundation of your strength tomorrow. The greatest rewards in life are often found on the other side of the fears, doubts, and limitations you choose to overcome. Resilience is one of the most valuable qualities a person can develop, yet it is rarely built during times of comfort. It is forged during moments of difficulty, uncertainty, disappointment, and struggle. Many people believe that successful individuals have fewer problems than everyone else, but the truth is often the opposite. The people who achieve meaningful success are usually those who have learned how to face adversity without allowing it to define them. They understand that challenges are not roadblocks placed in their path. They are opportunities to grow stronger, wiser, and more capable. Life has a way of testing every person. There will be setbacks that seem unfair, failures that shake your confidence, and moments when your efforts do not produce immediate results. There will be times when doors close unexpectedly and plans fall apart despite your best intentions. In those moments, it is easy to become discouraged and question your abilities. However, resilience is the ability to continue moving forward even when circumstances are difficult. It is the decision to rise after a fall, learn from mistakes, and keep pursuing your goals despite temporary defeats. One of the most important lessons adversity teaches is that strength often exists within us long before we realize it. Many people underestimate their own capacity to endure challenges because they have never been tested. Yet when difficulties arrive, they discover reserves of courage, determination, and persistence they never knew they possessed. The struggle itself becomes the teacher. Every obstacle develops patience. Every setback teaches adaptability. Every disappointment strengthens emotional endurance. Over time, these experiences shape character and prepare individuals for greater responsibilities and opportunities. Resilient people do not waste energy asking, "Why is this happening to me?" Instead, they ask, "What can I learn from this?" This simple shift in perspective changes everything. When challenges become lessons rather than punishments, growth becomes possible. Failures transform into feedback. Mistakes become valuable sources of wisdom. Difficult seasons become periods of preparation rather than reasons to quit. History is filled with examples of people who achieved extraordinary things not because they avoided hardship, but because they refused to surrender to it. Their greatest breakthroughs often came after repeated setbacks. What appeared to be failure was actually training. What seemed like rejection was redirection. What looked like an ending became the beginning of a stronger chapter. The reality is that resilience does not eliminate pain, frustration, or disappointment. It does something more powerful. It teaches you how to move through those experiences without losing your purpose. It allows you to maintain hope when progress is slow and confidence when results are delayed. It reminds you that temporary circumstances do not determine your permanent future. Every challenge you face today carries within it the possibility of growth. Every difficult experience can strengthen your character if you choose to learn from it. The storms of life may test your limits, but they can also reveal your potential. When you develop resilience, you stop fearing obstacles and start seeing them as part of the journey. And in doing so, you become stronger, wiser, and better prepared for the success that awaits on the other side of perseverance. Long-term thinking is one of the most powerful mental disciplines a person can develop, yet it is also one of the rarest. Most people make decisions based on how they feel today, what they want right now, or what brings the quickest reward. They focus on immediate comfort, instant gratification, and short-term results. But the people who achieve meaningful success in life understand a different principle. Today's choices are creating tomorrow's reality. They know that every action, every habit, and every decision is either building the future they desire or moving them further away from it. The challenge is that long-term success often requires short-term sacrifice. The benefits of discipline are rarely visible immediately. When you begin exercising, you do not become fit overnight. When you start reading books, your knowledge does not multiply in a single day. When you begin saving money, financial freedom does not appear instantly. The rewards are delayed. Because of this, many people quit before they ever experience the results of their efforts. They become discouraged by the lack of immediate progress and abandon the very habits that could have transformed their lives. However, those who think long-term understand that progress is often invisible before it becomes undeniable. They trust the process even when they cannot yet see the outcome. They recognize that every worthwhile achievement requires patience, consistency, and faith in the value of disciplined action. They are willing to plant seeds today, knowing that the harvest may come months or even years later. Long-term thinkers also understand that success is not built through dramatic moments, but through repeated daily decisions. A single workout will not change your body, but hundreds of workouts over time will. Reading one chapter may not change your life, but reading consistently for years can completely transform your perspective and opportunities. Saving a small amount of money may seem insignificant today, but over time it can create security, freedom, and peace of mind. The power is not in the individual action. The power is in the accumulation of those actions over time. Another important aspect of long-term thinking is the ability to delay gratification. This means choosing what you want most over what you want now. It means resisting distractions that offer temporary pleasure but provide little lasting value. It means having the wisdom to invest your time, energy, and attention into activities that contribute to your future rather than merely satisfying the present moment. The truth is that your future is being shaped right now. The person you will become in 5 years is largely determined by the habits you practice today, the books you read, the skills you develop, the people you surround yourself with, and the standards you choose to uphold. Long-term success is not an accident. It is the result of intentional choices repeated consistently over time. Those who learn to think beyond today, remain committed to growth, and stay patient through the process, eventually achieve results that others admire. While many focus on immediate rewards, long-term thinkers quietly build extraordinary lives, one disciplined day at a time.